What up?
Hey.
Are you looking at the camera?
Yeah, sorry about that. I forgot.
Whoa!
Hey! What's up? What's up, guys?
It's Caroline and Seth. The future as of in 24 hours, Mr. and Mrs. King.
That's right.
And I'm going to give you a little insight to our story. All right, so in 2015, we met in Buchanan Hall at Stanford University. Me and a friend of mine were recording a song that we were just messing around with, playing in the music hall, and out of nowhere, the door barges open, and behold, Caroline Coley comes and sits down and goes, "Oh my gosh, I heard you guys were singing. Can I sing too? My name's Caroline Coley." We got back to school to start our senior year in the fall of 2018, and we started dating in September. And we dated that whole year, and then the summer of 2019, right after we graduated from Stanford, I asked her to marry me after accepting the calling to First Baptist Church in Decatur, Alabama. And that is where this story begins.
Soon after that, me and my mom started planning for the wedding, and we picked a date, March 28th. And me and Seth are very relational people. We have a lot of deep friendships, and we knew we would want to have a big party because of that, with all of our friends there and family. So before COVID-19 and everything that happened, me and my dad actually had a conversation at the beginning of the wedding planning process when I was talking about details and I couldn't decide about a certain flower arrangement or something, I can't remember, just different details. And he looked at me and he said, "Okay, if you ever get stressed about any detail while you're wedding planning at all, about stuff that you're gonna wear or things that other people are gonna wear or whatever, just think of this verse." And he referenced a verse about not storing up for yourselves treasures on earth where things destroy, but storing up for yourself treasures in heaven where things last forever and things aren't temporary. And so I thought about that a lot during the process, and it became very real, that verse, because he said that way before we even started planning, and it became so real.
So obviously we're in this scenario as a result of COVID-19. The way we do life has been radically changed by this. And so as things developed in China and it began to spread across the world, we saw the wave coming but didn't know the size of the wave because we were too far away. And so we stayed on course. And I think I can speak for both of us in saying that we stayed on course with the hopes that we weren't gonna have to change anything because everything that we had set is everything that we wanted. The more it developed, the more it began to really, I don't want to say wreck our lives because it didn't. The more it began to challenge our lives. And so we began seeing doors closed that were open for a while. The city of Montgomery put out an issue which indirectly involved the church that we were going to be married in at First Baptist. And without hesitation, instead of putting potential people in jeopardy, we decided to remove ourselves from using that as a venue for our wedding. There were ordinances put out for no more gatherings larger than 25 people. All of these things started compiling on each other, and we kind of got to a point of desperation. And we both agreed to not talk about it until we could not avoid it. We found ourselves in the house, and it got to a point where I couldn't avoid the conversation. I went into our bathroom, and I closed the door, and I asked Caroline to come on the other side. And honestly, a part of that was if I could remove any emotion for the sake of just being completely transparent with each other so we could have a conversation that was centered around truth. I think that was the best thing for both of us. And in that moment, she was really mad because she was like, "Yeah, I really want to see you right now while we're talking about our wedding, but I hope you understand because it's over." Anyways, we talked about the hard thing, and I said, "Hey, here are our three options. We either continue with the wedding and put lives in jeopardy, we cancel the wedding and postpone it, or we shrink this thing down and fit it in such a way that we're able to accomplish the task of getting married." After much conversation, we decided to move the wedding from Montgomery to Decatur, Alabama, here at the church. So we were super excited. We had things figured out. We were gonna have a small wedding where we were gonna invite basic friends and family, keep it kind of small, but a little bit more than the bridal party and the immediate family. And then we saw COVID-19 break loose, and things started to change rapidly. I had to call some of my closest friends that I grew up with from when I was a super young dude. Had to tell them to stay home and to not come and to not be a part of something that I knew they'd be a part of from when I was little. And she's had to ask people to hold off until Saturday and to not be a part of specific events. And so what it looks like now is we are currently about to have a wedding where it is our parents, our siblings, some bridal party that is within 2 hours of driving distance, and that's it. That's really all it is. And we are totally okay with that, and here's why. Because we truly believe that in the midst of everything that we have been walking through, now keep in mind, 500 plus, attendance rate for the wedding that we were planning went to less than 25 in a matter of 6 days. What we saw this as, it was an opportunity for us to listen to the Lord and to see what He's attempting to reveal to us for the sake of our obedience and devotion to Him. And here's what that is. How much are we willing to sacrifice, not for the sake of our relationship, but for the sake of representing a message that we value the most? How much are we willing to say, that's not that big of a deal, not because we want the platform of getting married, but because we want that platform to illustrate the message and the story of the gospel? Because what that is what we value the most. And it involved, sacrificing precious friendships that weren't going to be present on our day, mentors that poured effortlessly into our life for so many years, a venue of Caroline's dream since she was a little girl. It involved a reception party that went from 500 to 23. It involved food that we had planned, tuxedos, expensive tuxedos that we don't get to wear, a pastor that we both love so dear, her home pastor from Montgomery marrying us. All of these things that we wanted. We decided to go, hey, you know what? For the sake of representing the gospel and relaying that story through not our discernment, but through the picture of marriage and the picture of covenantal marriage, we're going to gladly release those things, and we're going to focus on what matters. And that is the story of Jesus Christ. I hope that our timeline reflects that of the gospel.